Howdy there folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the NECA Toys Armored Assassin Predator Deluxe Action Figure. Now, one thing that I want to say is this ultimate, is it deluxe? To me it's potato, just because it's a big figure doesn't make it deluxe or ultimate. However, NECA thinks otherwise. For this to be ultimate, even deluxe, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to say this straight off the bat before I get into the review, it should have come with two things. A, it should have come with the skull and spine of Fugitive. B, it should have come with a freaking figure stand. Okay? I tried filming this review today probably 6 or 7 times. I could not get through it without the figure falling on me. Now you're asking yourself, well, why didn't you just use a stand of your own? Well, I wanted to show the figure off for what it really is without external accessories. However, I have officially deemed that impossible. So what I have done is I have taken the Hot Toys Wolverine stand and this waist cradle from my Hot Toys Mark I and made a temporary makeshift stand. However, NECA, Randy, whoever's in charge of these figures, you really screwed the pooch on this one, buddy. And it's not the figure's fault, because he was designed with tiny feet. But you should have compensated for that with a stand, considering you're paying $50+ for this figure, and I'm not even taking into account people outside the US. Okay? With that said, and my rant over, let's get into the review proper. Alrighty, so I do want to show off the box for a quick minute. I really like the art they did for the front cover here. It's really exaggerated, which I do dig. You can see the Assassin Predators, or I guess you can call it the Fugitive Predators, ship there in the background, with them just going after each other. I like the flame effects in the background. You can even see a truck down there carrying the lead protagonists, that whole crew of people. To the side, nothing too special, just says the Predator, and the other side shows pretty much the same artwork. The back, kind of traditional with these ultimate figures. You do have pictures, toy photography, and all that fun stuff showing off the accessories, and if you have the other figures, like Fugitive here, you can recreate this. Of course, they photoshopped the stands out, because that's really hard to do. But yeah, and here's a bio. You can pause and read that if you would like. And for you nitpickers out there, here's the top and the bottom with the barcode if you need that for whatever reason. Alright, so now, as always with these ultimate boxes, you can unhinge it using the Velcro, and the flap will open, revealing the figure, who I've obviously opened, and some toy photography of the Assassin Predator, who is well, he kind of looks constipated in this photo, but nonetheless, pretty neat. Dear God, I made him stand. I'm going to try and do a 360 without him falling. If that fails, I'll get the stand. It's a beautiful figure. It really, really is. I'm very impressed with NECA this time. Stand aside, accessories aside, they put together a really, really nice Predator figure. Oh, you son of a bitch! Take 2. Alright, so they put together a really nice figure. I definitely enjoy it. For what I can tell, the scale is pretty much perfect. The paint application to this guy is really, really extensive. There are parts on the figure that it could have been a little bit better, which I'll be getting to later in the review, but straight off the bat, knowing that he doesn't come with much, and obviously the stand, I can recommend this figure just instantly. It's fantastic. I almost considered buying another because I want to do a certain kind of display, which I might mention later again in the review, but he's really cool. So let's take a closer look. The head sculpt. Do I even need to say anything? I mean, look how good this looks. Honestly. Yeah, the eyes, you know, they're not absolutely perfect, mainly the left eye over there, but it's so tiny. You know, with NECA's quality, you know, this is kind of standard, and that's not a slide to them. Doesn't bother me at all. You can hardly even see it, but look at the rest of the sculpt. All that paint, and I love the glossiness all over the entire skull here. You got the mandibles closed, basically the base head, and I really do enjoy the shading that they put in the gums over here too. I don't know how well you can see that, but the paintwork is pretty extensive. I'm trying to get a good angle here on showing the inside of the mandibles, which also have that, I think, that have that glossy paint, and it's really cool. I also like how the mandibles aren't exactly symmetrical. You can tell that they're kind of not matching, they're each doing their own thing, and that's pretty movie accurate. I mean, it's like your fingers, basically. They're not always going to be symmetrical, so that's pretty cool. And his head is just super spiky. Be careful popping heads on this guy, because these are pretty sharp, honestly. You can easily break skin with these, and check out all that red paint, almost like a violet or something just going throughout the scalp. It's crazy, all those wrinkles and everything. The dreads, again, like with most Predator figures, they're individual, so that's pretty cool. Got these gold braces with spikes on the ends here, which are really nice. The dreads are a little bit different than what you would expect from a typical Predator. Usually they're smooth, just sculpted very generically, but obviously because of his design, they got all these indentations, and they almost look like scales in a sense, which again, I really, really like it. These spikes here, they are rubberized, and obviously these are really pliable. Just keep in mind, and again, no slide to this figure specifically. It comes like this, so you gotta maybe lean it against something so it'll kind of flatten against the back and stuff, but not too big of a deal. So yeah, excellent job on the head sculpt. I mean, it is incredible. This isn't even my preferred head sculpt either. The open mandibles one is, and I'll get into that later in the review, but A+, man. Absolute A+, and it is super duper movie accurate. I'm actually going to include a picture right here to kind of show you how movie accurate it is. And the Assassin Predator with the closed mandibles, he has this grin or something. I don't know how to explain it, but movie accurate. He had a specific look. I don't know how to explain it, but if you watch the movie, you kind of know what I'm getting at. And the same can easily be said with the rest of this body. There is so much sculpt going on here. If you watch the movie, you'll kind of know that the Assassin Predator isn't like all the other Predators. Obviously, he's kind of genetically modified, and he has armor under his skin, or at least built into his skin, and you can really see that here. I mean, just feeling the figure, there's so much armor. I mean, the pecs, they're armor plates of their own. They have that really nice, again, that red burgundy pattern right there across the chest, and the shading that they did in between all the muscle groups is just ridiculous. I absolutely love it. They put a lot of work into this. And here you got the shoulders. These are a pliable material, almost like, this seemed like a really stiff rubber, which I'm glad about, because it definitely helps with the articulation. I'll get into that later. And again, really nice paintwork going to the back. Back is really cool looking. You got the spine and everything. Again, a lot of different paint applications and a ton of sculpting. I mean, feeling this guy, like in hand, he feels like a rock. Like literally, like his surface, his entire build is just rocky and stuff, bumps everywhere. So it's pretty cool looking. Moving down, we have his right gauntlet here, which is pretty cool. Obviously, there's a port for when you would put the wrist blade in, but a lot of paintwork going in here as well. Obviously, you have the sky blue tints, and even like a tint of red right there, which was kind of weird. Got one over there as well, and the silver they used is pretty reflective. They put a nice black wash around it to make it look a little bit worn, and in person I can even see a slight hint of brown. So I consider that all kind of scuffs and scrapes and battle damage and stuff like that. But here's the underside. Got these almost, I guess, leather straps. I mean, I guess you can call them leather straps, and the skin is also molded pretty nicely as well. And you got the hands here, which I will admit needed more work. The sculpt is there and everything. It's all set to go, but the detail on the actual sculpt, the paintwork, needed a lot more work. I mean, just looking at this compared to the rest of the body, try and zoom out, you can obviously tell ton of paintwork here, not much here. Unless I'm wrong and it's like that in the movie, which I highly doubt, but definitely correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a genius, but yeah. And here we have the other gauntlet, and that piece fell out. That happens sometimes. I'll get into this when I get into the accessories, but that's pretty much for the plasma caster. And it's a similar sculpt, pretty much the same, except for this part right here, which is where you would put the wrist blade and stuff. So good paintwork there. And we got his trousers. Oh yeah, everybody loves them trousers. You can't have a Predator without a skirt. It's the rule, okay? Except the Fugitive Predator coming out, the naked one. I don't think he has a skirt. Maybe he does. I don't know. But again, great detail. I really like the brown that they used. Again, it looks really worn, especially these silver pieces here have a really nice wash on them. And got the detail right here on these sides and the back as well, looking pretty good. What I really liked about the Predator, the Assassin Predator, is this short piece here versus the long one. Just looks better. I think he'd look a little bit worse if the skirt was symmetrical, but it makes him look more tactical, I guess. So, and checking out the legs, again, the paintwork and the sculpt is amazing. I love those red, I'm guessing they're red, I don't know. I'm not good with colors, but good streaks everywhere here on the back. They almost look like veins, but nah, not really veins. And yeah, I'm trying to tell if these are the same on either side. They might be a little bit different on each leg. This one looks more faded, at least in person. So yeah, and again, the scaling. That's so crazy. I love this thing so much. And you got the legs here. Obviously, the Assassin Predator is not like other Predators, and let me actually remove the stand off him. Now, what I was saying is the Assassin Predator obviously is a lot different than regular Predators. He has these almost Alien Isolation Xenomorph legs. Obviously, this doesn't work in the figure's favor, but the design is pretty cool. Yeah. I definitely like the design. Got the feet there with the nails and everything. Looking pretty good. And yeah, he has pegs at the bottom of his feet. Which, well, when I get a proper stand, that'll be really nice. Oh, god damn it, NECA. And I'm not buying into your scam and buying all those stands at Target. I will use my stupid Wolverine Iron Man makeshift stand for now. However, I am a good person. I managed to balance him long enough to show off the articulation, so I'll go ahead and get started with the head over here. Honestly, as far as the head goes, it's not too different than other Predators. Obviously, these are pliable, so the head can go pretty much that much up, down that much, go side to side, and you can technically do the full 360. The dreads will obviously fight you a little bit, but again, they're very, very pliable. And yeah, so I mean, the shoulder here is a little bit different than typical Predators because he's so armored. NECA needed to make these shoulder pieces pliable or a really hard rubber. With not really manipulating them too much, the arm can go out about that much, but you can technically kind of, again, manipulate it a little bit. That stupid piece fell. It'll go out that much. Yeah. And kind of tuck it back in. I don't like doing that personally, but it can move the full 360. He has a double jointed elbow, which needed hot water. So I'm going to be gentle here. There you go. And at the base of the forearm, it can rotate, and these are on a hinge and they can fully rotate, so it's pretty good. The waist though has a ton of mobility. You got a upper diaphragm joint here and a waist joint, so the upper diaphragm can go forward that much, back that much, side to side, and can obviously twist, and pretty much the same can go with the waist over here, so get a lot of mobility. Per usual Predators, this piece is pliable, so these are on ball joints, so they can go forward that much, about that much, and back that much. They can do the splits, though I don't recommend it because that's really scary to do. Really, it is. Upper thigh cut and a double jointed knee, but you want to be really careful because again, it can break on you. Here you get two joints at the foot, one up here, and then obviously one here at the base of the foot, which I will try and demonstrate. There you go. Yeah. Tight joints. Really, really tight joints, which I'm okay with, considering the size of this guy. He needed to have tight joints, otherwise he'd be going all over the place, just like my Guardian Predator. Alrighty, accessories. Let's take a look at this head here. Yeah. It is intense. Wanted to move it into better light. I mean, check that out. Now you can get a real good look at the inside of his mouth and the mandibles. Crazy. You even got some tints of a very, very light purple in there. It's probably coming off as dark purple on camera, but it's not too bad. And again, the shading, the gums and everything, it's crazy. The eyes are a little bit better on this one too, which I just noticed, actually. But yeah, it is really nice. Got the same dreadlocks. Pretty much the rest of the sculpt is the same. Paintwork is the same. But actually, I think the paint on this one might be even sharper than that. I can't really tell. But if you want to view them side by side, there you go. Yeah, I think this one has sharper paint, but still pretty cool. Let us go ahead and remove this. I mean, removing it is pretty much like any Predator. Just be really gentle and twist it off, one step at a time. There you go. There's the joint. And again, just be gentle. Don't go too crazy with it, because you never know with NECA. It can break off. This one doesn't really make a snapping click, but that's fine. Alright, and there he is with the head. Again, this is my preferred look for him. He just looks so awesome, but it's incomplete because now we need the weapons, and he comes with two. Like I mentioned, not a whole lot. He didn't have a whole lot in the movie, but I wanted him to come with the skull and spine of Fugitive, but nothing you can do now. Let's start with this. Obviously the wrist blade, which is giant and very, very flimsy. Treat this like you would any NECA Predator, in that one fall and this can easily snap on you, and gluing it is not going to be fun. But it's just a pretty standard silver. You get some tints of black in there to show the wear, but yeah, application is pretty easy. It goes, to my knowledge, it only goes on this hand, unless it goes here as well. Is there a part that you can remove? No. Okay, yeah, because I'm pretty sure it was only on this hand in the movie, and it just goes right there. I mean, I don't even need to say anything, but make sure it's secure, and there it is. And that looks pretty sweet. But now let us check out the plasma caster here. Obviously, if you watch the Predator, you'll know this is more of a hand cannon, or a forearm cannon, but it's pretty tiny, just right there. Pretty standard silver, got some wear and tear, and two joints, obviously right there. So nothing fancy. If you go on the figure, you'll see this little piece right here. Just snip it off, come out pretty easily. And I forgot which way it went. Okay, it actually goes on this way. Keep forgetting that, I always think it's the other way. And there you go. So he's pretty much all loaded up now and ready to kick some ass. Let me raise the camera before I get into the hands, which will make him look even better. I mean, I don't even have him in a pose, and he just looks like a badass already. He's ready to kick some ass. But the two hands you do get, which I'm happy about, are open palm hands, which, again, don't have too much paint. I was surprised to see this. Again, the sculpt is good. They painted the nails, obviously, which I don't think they painted on this one, which really sucks. I don't even know what happened there, but, you know, just standard hands. Nothing too big. I recommend removing the wrist blade when you apply these, and like you would any Predator, just slowly twist it off. Don't go too crazy. And there you go. And then I'll go ahead and put the blades back on here. There we go. And I kind of want to put him in a mini pose here. Again, the shoulders will kind of fight you a little bit, and obviously I don't got to stand on him, but this is just a dummy pose, but he looks so cool. I also just put on the other hand. I prefer to have a fist on this one. Just makes sense, but I wanted to show it off anyway. So that's pretty much it with accessories. He's fantastic. I mean, all he needed was just a little bit more. Again, that skull and spine would have been so cool. People do customs. I might look into that myself, but I mean, check this guy out. I mean, if you're a Predator fan, you basically need this figure. And speaking of Predator, I think it's time for some size comparisons. But before that, I do want to check his height. I haven't done this, so I'm actually a little curious. Let's see. Oh, you bitch! Almost 12 inches, just under it. God damn this stupid thing and its tiny feet. Okay, no edits. No edits from here on out. That's a lie. Okay, Fugitive Predator. Let's get him into the mix. Let me back this guy up. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Thank you. And here's Fugitive. Right by him. Oh, come on. Come on, buddy. Don't you be pulling this shit on me, too. Alright, there. And I think this scales perfectly. I know this is the same figure, but I wanted to put it here anyway. Got the thermal vision Fugitive right there, and let me actually grab some more figures off my shelf. Alright, so we got Golden Angel Predator, and if you're curious what it looks like next to an alien, I have the you know, the Predator Vision Xenomorph from I think the first AVP. But yeah, so there he is right there. And you know what, just because we got some AVP in here, let me grab a Predator from that movie. Wouldn't it be awesome if these crossed over? Golden Angel, gonna need to move aside and make way for Serpent Hunter, who's a little bit taller because he is on a stand. But yeah, there you go. So he is he's a big feller. Not quarter scale big, but as far as like actual scale goes for the movies, perfect. A+. Good job, NECA. And here he is next to my alpaca. Alrighty, so my final thoughts on Assassin Predator. Like I mentioned, he was a sought-after figure, he still is, and he was much anticipated. Once I saw those pictures of him at Comic-Con last year, I flipped out. I couldn't freaking wait, and when I finally saw him at my Target, I flipped out because I really wanted this guy, and I might buy a second one because like I mentioned, I want to do a display with him, another version, him on either side of the Predator throne with the Elder Predator from AVP sitting in it. Crazy idea, not canon, but whatever. I recommend this figure. Just know that you're going to be paying 50 plus bucks for this guy if you're overseas, probably a lot more. And you're not getting a whole lot. You get the extra head, which I have on. You have obviously the plasma caster, the wrist blade, and the extra hands, of which I don't really consider accessories. It wouldn't be a Predator figure without the plasma caster and wrist blades. And yeah, the head, okay, it's an extra, I'll give it that, but it could have used the Fugitive Predator skull and spine, which I'm going to keep reinforcing, and obviously a stand. I can't really remember the last time NECA gave us a stand. I remember they gave us a stand for the Deacon figure from Prometheus, but there are probably others, I just can't remember. Anyway, I recommend this figure, just know what you're getting into. Let me know what are your thoughts about this figure down in the comments below. I'm going to be reviewing a couple more figures from the new wave of the Arcade Aliens, so stay tuned. And go check out the Sanctuary on Facebook as well as YouTube. We do a toy show every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, though we will be skipping this week. And as always, people, have a good morning, evening, midday, whatever, and take care.